Once, Lorsha was a pale consort of the Mercator Pallidus, but when her family was struck down by the Neuron Plague, and Lorsha was somehow spared, she could not bring herself to dispatch her now undead brothers and sisters. Instead, she herded them Down-Hive, seeking out a remote settlement to call home. Eventually, Lorsha and her family came upon the town of Skullhole, a collective of hard-working Holsteaders living in the depths of the Bad Zones. After foolishly opening their gates for the former Pale Consort, the locals were then given the choice to succumb to the plague or feed Lorsha's family, and it was not long before Lorsha alone drew breath within Skullhole. For a time, all was well in Skullhole. Lorsha kept her family fed on unsuspecting travellers and lost gangers while making sure they didn't wander off into the Bad Zones and get lost. Then the voices started. At first, Lorsha thought it was her family talking to her and welcomed the break in their long silence. But in time, she came to realise it was someone else, or something else, communing with her from the beyond. The voice convinced her she should spread the Neuron Plague to others and that everyone deserved the blessing of its terrible sickness. Leaving Skullhole behind, Lorsha took up her bone sceptre and knives, the ancient implements of the Pale Consorts, and set out to find allies who would help her spread the disease that still burned in her veins. Howdy folks, and welcome back to Wellywood Wargaming. My name is Damon, and this is the huge series where I give you bite-sized videos on every single Dramatis Personae and hired gun in the game of Necromunda to date. We're now in letter Q as we get through this, but please do like, share, subscribe, check out the Patreon, and comment down below as well, if you please. Queen Lorsha, an interesting one here. I love the lore there, really cool, and I have to say the illustration for Queen Lorsha is super creepy. I have done my own sort of version of the model here. Really, it's a Corpse Grinder Initiate, but it works quite well for Queen Lorsha in terms of the curved blade, so I'll put that in the video now. 100 credits for Queen Lorsha. She's pretty cheap for a Hive Scummer, and she's available in the Book of Ruin. You could easily kit bash a model for this chick. She's pretty cool. You could use the Pale Consort from Forge World if you wanted, with a couple of moderations maybe. But yeah, there's loads of things you could do. You could use maybe a Warhammer Fantasy zombie of some sort and just give it a sort of hooked blade and all the other gubbins. But really cool bit of lore there. In terms of the stats, we've got a movement of 5, a weapon skill of 4+, which is average, ballistic skill of 6 up, strength toughness 3, 2 wounds, an initiative of 3+, and 2 attacks. In terms of the mental stats, we've got a 7+ leadership, cool of 6+, 8+ willpower, and a 7+ intelligence. So decent cool there, and nice to have 2 wounds and 2 attacks there as well, but average, if not less than average on everything else. In terms of the weapons and stuff that she comes with a Bone Scepter, which is a weapon unique to Queen Lorsha, and a pretty good one as well. It has a close combat range of a -1 to hit in close combat, and a 2-inch versatile range there as well, with strength +1, damage 1, and no AP. But it's pretty nice to have that extra 2-inch pop on your charges and stuff, giving you a sort of 10-inch threat range or something if you really want it. Pretty nice, and in combination with that we have a flensing knife as well. A little bit different to a fighting knife in that in place of having the backstab, it has rending instead and -1 AP. Pretty nice, nothing to scream about, but pretty nice. But I do like the Bone Scepter in terms of that 2-inch range with the +1 strength there as well. Very nice indeed. In terms of the skills, we have Bloodlust and Stepaside. Bloodlust is a savagery skill that's available to Corpse Grinders, and that gives her the ability to both coup de grace and consolidate in one move, so you don't have to choose between the two. You can now do both, which is quite nice, but it's not world-changing. The other one she has is Stepaside as well, which is a close combat skill that everybody pretty much knows about there, available to all the Escher and stuff. She also comes with Disturbing Aura, which counts as a Cutter's Mask, so that means that you have to make a willpower check to shoot her or fight her, which is very nice indeed. And she comes with a special rule in that she is an outlaw hired gun, so only hireable for outlaw gangs. But for 100 credits, I think she's pretty cool. I have used her in a number of games using the sort of Goonhammer bounty system for my outlaw gangs, and she's pretty interesting, especially having the ability to have that Disturbing Aura can be really annoying. She can just get up in your face and be annoying with her little scepter and stabbiness. But she's certainly nothing too special. I just really, really like the lore around her, and I think for 100 credits, she's definitely worth her weight there in terms of adding her to your gangs. If you've got a very close combat orientated gang like Corpse Grinders or whatever, she's not offering you anything new at all. But in a sort of outlaw Vansar gang or something like that, she could be pretty useful, I reckon. But that's Queen Lorsha. I don't think there's anything more to talk about with Queen Lorsha, but if you've used her, please do comment down below. And I think she's a pretty good one. All in all, I don't think you want to use her as an outcast leader in any way, but you certainly could if you wanted to add a few extra skills down the line in the campaign or something and make her really shine a bit more. But yeah, that's it for Queen Lorsha, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace out.